We are also late. We'll start the class now. Start with the prayer. Before that, you can see the screen as well as you hear my voice.
Yes.
Yes. No. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And as your eyes palms together, seek the blessing from all your God goddesses. Simply one and slowly moves. Okay. Today plan is like this. We are going to see the Gocharam followed by the class lessons. Will be definitely finish Saturn today, then followed by the horoscope analysis. Okay, that's about today. Let's get into Gocharam. Okay, today's Gocharam, Buddha, Ragu, Shukra, Sani, all in the Meena Rasi, Surya in the Mesha, Guru in the Rishabha, Mangal in the Kadaka, Ketu in the Kanya, Chandra in the Dhanu. Okay. Panjang, okay, this is the day where you can see, okay, we are going to see that in next slide. Okay, let's see the Panjang first. Tithi Saptami followed by the Ashtami, Yoga Siddha followed by the Satya, Nakshatra Satya. Nakshatra is the Purva Shada followed by the Uttarashada. Karana Vishti followed by the Bhava and the Balava. Midday is the Ravivara, Paksha is the Krishna Paksha. Okay, make it as a practice. See the Panchang every day so that you can familiarize with the name of the Tithi, name of the Yoga, name of the Nakshatra, name of the Karana for every day. So why is this important? That will give you the different dimension of whenever you read the horoscope. That will give you the whole different dimension, and also it add more perspective into your analysis. Okay, let's see about. Consider this is a Satish horoscope. How you can see the Gochar. This is your horoscope. Anybody's Janana Jatak, anybody's birth chart. Okay. The outer layer is the Gochar. How you have to see? What are the things mainly you have to see about one fast moving planet, Chandra? Whenever you see the Gocharam, the first thing you have to see about Chandra only over your birth chart. Okay. Now here the Chandra is over the Mars. And that too, it was in his 7th house. Satish in the call? No, right? Okay. When the Chandra over the Mars, how it will think about consider if he was really brave in nature. When the Chandra over the Mars will become this is the mind. And the Mars is the bravery and all kind of your strong natures. When the Chandra is over your Mars, you have to find out how the ability of the person was changing, how the thinking capability of the person was changing. Okay, especially when the people who are having the Dhanush Rasi, that means today is the Chandra over the Chandra, and it was a celebration day for them. I'm saying in a very negative sense, because when the Chandra over the Chandra will come, they may not able to some of the work, whatever they expect to do. Sometimes they feel lazy. Or if the Chandra was in a very strong position, this entire thing can be utterly changed. Like they will be very active, their mind will be focused, they are concentrated at one goal. So the thing will be different based on your birth chart. Okay. So what we have to do whenever you see the Gosharam, remember, because now at this point in time, I believe everybody remember your birth chart. Yes or no? No?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So whenever you remember your birth chart, consider it. This is the layer of your memory. Okay, this is the layer. Okay, the inner side, the inner chart is your birth chart. That is in your memory. So whenever you see the Gocharam, you have to remember. Okay, when the Chandra is over, which house for me? Now consider for this is the Lagna, Mithuna Lagna. For him, it was the seventh house. So the Chandra over the seventh house. So whenever you see the Graha, especially the yearly Grahas like Rahu, Ketu, Guru, Sani, and the Guru. So additionally, with the Chandra, you have to see the yearly Grahas as well. At the moment, whenever you see the Gocharam, you have to remember your birth chart and which house the Graha was moving. Remember at this point, okay, at this level only. Then we come every week, we have to adding more details into it. Now you can say what I'm going to find out. Okay, my birth chart is there, my the daily Gocharam is there. How I can get anything out of it. What are the things I have to see out of this Gocharam and my birth chart? That we will see in every week. We'll see in a very detailed fashion, but it's very small topic. We will go to okay. But at this point, you have to remember your birth chart. And whenever you see the Gocharam, you no need for the birth chart because it's already in your memory. Whenever you see the Gocharam, you have to remember, okay, which house Chandra was going, which house Guru was going, which house Sani Raghav was going. This much is you can able to do it. Then reading of the Gocharam is very much easy for you. Okay, this much everybody can do it, right? I hope everybody can. I guess. Do you find any difficulty in this? Whenever you remember your birth chart, you have to remember which house the Gocharam, the Graha was there. So there are two things involved in it. You have to remember your birth chart. You have to understand the Gocharam. Hmm? Initially, it may be feel confused because sometimes because you are remembering the two chart at a time. But when you practiced again and again, it won't be that much difficult. That's why I ask you to see the Gocharam every day. Don't miss a single day. It won't be at least 1 minute only. You have to go through the Gocharam every day. Okay, let's getting into the Saturn. Saturn, another name is the Sanishwara, Saneshara. Whenever you remember about the Saturn, consider there was one side is Saturn is very organized, structured, disciplined, and it maintains the justice at all times. It won't be slipped at any moment. That kind of the person is the Saturn. Okay. Now let's see the other side of the Saturn. Saturn is a very lazy in nature. Why it was lazy in nature? It's not the Saturn is a lazy. Okay. The Saturn moves everything in a very slow fashion. Note everybody. That is almost familiar. Okay. Saturn do whatever the works in a slow fashion. That's why we call it as a lazy planet. Okay. But whenever the Saturn is also, you have to remember, it was the hard work. It has a tendency to do the work continuously. Some people may think, okay, whenever they do the work, they are not interested in the hard work. They want to shortcut their ways and find it in a smart way. But the certain significant peoples, what they will do, they do put so much of work into it. Even if it was a small work, they put so much of work into it to fulfill that any of the needs they want. Okay. So simple thing, whatever you have to remember, it's lazy and hardworking. And the other side was organized structure, discipline, and this justice. So when you remember these two organized list in your mind, you can easily understand what is that. Okay. And let's go and okay. Additionally, you have to remember the story which I told you about the Saturn in the earlier classes. So why we need to understand that? Whenever we understand the Saturn nature in the universe, see, when whatever the things in front of us, you have to be find which graha influence it was, which graha not even a single dust, it won't get not get influenced by the grahas. Everything it get influenced by the grahas. Even a soil, even a rock, whatever living, non-living things, whatever it is, it is influenced by the grahas, grahas energy. So whenever you see the person, how you can identify this person energy? Significantly, Saturn's energy was filled with. If the person was handicapped, if the person was all the old age people's considered as the Saturn moon. Okay, the children are considered as the guru. How we can okay? Let's not enter into that category. Let's consider only on the Saturn. The old age people consider all the old age people, regardless of the male, female, whoever the gender it is, they consider it as the Saturn's energy. And the people who want to live far away and they don't want to live with anybody, they want to live a lone life, there is no significant Saturn's energy will be there. Why? If you remember the story which I told you earlier about the Saturn, it will be clearly described this every point. Saturn won't have the good relationship with his father if he want to go away from his family or want to live away from his family. And not even very close in nature, not even a medium level. It want to go far away from his father's place. And when he was going away from his family, he was injured by his father by exactly on his leg. So that's why he became handicapped because the injury was not that much healed. So you have to remember this story. The peoples who are handicapped and the old age peoples and the peoples who are doing any kind of the hard work. The peoples who are whenever they are doing the work, they are sweating. The Saturn's energy will be there. Okay, so that way you have to remember Saturn's energy. Okay, let's come back to know about the more about Saturn. Saturn's moon Rashi is the Kumbha and the Makara. Saturn debilitated in the Mesh Rasi and exalted in the Tula Rasi. Moola Trikona is again a Kumbha, 0 to 20 degree. Gender is the inert because it's a combination energy, female and the male energy. Aspect is the 3, 7, 10. Direction is the west. Directional strength is also west. Malefic, absolutely malefic. And Aditevata, Prajapati. Pratyaditevata, Yama. And if you remember, Yama is the brother for him. Okay, elder brother for him. The elements Vayu, Dosha, Vata. And you can easily identify the Saturn's energy peoples also. If the skin becomes too dry. Okay, one more thing also. Why even anyone's life, if the Saturn influence was starting or Saturn influence was in their life, you can easily understand from the skin. If the skin was very much dry, and dry means it was so dry, all over the entire skin will be dry. The Saturn's energy was occupied in their body. Significant. So how we can identify the Guru's energy? The Guru will be close, smooth, and you can easily identify that's the Guru's energy. Your body becomes like a golden color. You can't even describe how much the gold color will be. If the Guru's energy was significantly in them, that energy will be increased. We may say like this is the Guru's energy and the Saturn's energy. But there is when the Graha combination was inside them, there was a chemical combination. There was, interestingly, I learned this kind of the things in two different ways. One time I learned under the astrologer who was very much interested in the chemistry. And the other person was different knowledge, I forgot. Okay, this person was told this whenever there was the chemical combination, chemical reaction, and whatever the chemistry will do, that happens in your body. This kind of the skin dryness or glowing will happen in your okay. Exactly, that was the Graha influence will. It makes some kind of the chemical reaction, some kind of the one of my yoga teachers also told this. If you what is about your happiness, what is about your sadness. It's a kind of the chemical combinations your body was releasing, your body was releasing. It's a kind of the increase of the hormone, decrease of the hormone. And whichever the gland in your body is working properly, that will do the work. So end of the day, it's a chemical combination. If you laugh also, it's a chemical combination. If you sad also, chemical combination. Okay, that's a story leaving. But what I'm trying to say here was this: the sat any graha's influence you can easily see in your body first. Instead of seeing in whatever the things around you, see yourself to what kind of the graha influencing me most. Before see your chart itself, see yourself, is this kind of the significance in my body or not? If my skin was dry, how how come my skin is dry if my Saturn was not in a good position? Go and see in your chart, it exactly telling you your Saturn may not be in a good place. You can check with n number of the peoples. If they have the dry skin, the Saturn is not in the good place. I can assure that. Go and see. Because the dryness will increase when the Saturn energy will be decreased. And try this test also. If the Guru's energy was with them, they can't reduce the weight. Even if they do n number of exercise, they put their effort, but the Guru's energy with them, it's a kind of the muscular energy. Muscular means not strength. If the strength was involved, Mars will come. But they are very chubby in nature. You can't reduce them. Okay, that is the Guru's energy. Okay, let's come back to Saturn. And that is about the Saturn. And okay, in the in the two houses of the Saturn, Kumbha and the Makara, Kumbha there was no exaltation, there is no debilitation. But in the Makara Rasi, exaltation is the Mars, debilitation is the Jupiter. Okay? A little bit more about the Saturn. Friends or already I told you about this. You have the Saturn, Mercury, and Venus is the one group, and these people's in the other groups. Okay? So for the Saturn, Mercury and Venus is the friend, neutral is the Jupiter, enemies are the Sun, Moon, and the Mars. Nakshatra, 8th Pushya Nakshatra, 17th Nakshatra Anuradha, 27 Uttara Bhadrapada. Saturn is 19 years of the Dasha period. Okay. Bit more about the Saturn. Maranakaraka, first house. Combustion 0 to 15 degree. But mostly, remember, when at least it's between the plus or minus 5 degree, consider it is a combustion. Or plus or minus 3 degree, consider it as a combustion. This was written in the books, but mostly the peoples will think plus or minus 5 degrees considered as the combustion. Okay. The Yoga Karaka is for the Rishabha Lagna people, Saturn becomes the Yoga Karaka. For the Tula Lagna people, also Saturn becomes the Yoga Karaka. How it becomes? Because the Trikona Rasi, ninth house becomes the Magara Rasi, 10th house becomes the Kumbha. Ninth is the Trikona and the 10th is the Kendra. That's why for the Rishabha, ninth house Makara, 10th house Kumbha, then the Saturn becomes the Yoga Karaka. For the Tula Rasi, fifth house is the Kumbha, fourth house is the Makara Rasi. That's why Saturn becomes the Yoga Karaka. Okay, Bhatakasthana for the Mesha Lagna people, Sara Rasi. That's why it becomes 11th house. That is the Kumbha Rasi becomes the Bhatakasthana. Who's the Lord of the obstacle? Obviously, Saturn. Rishabha, Rasi, ninth house, Makara Rasi, that house is Saturn. Okay. Navagaraha Sostram, you can invoke the sun in a very n number of the ways. But one of the thing, the people who are interested in chanting, people who believe, okay, when I chant, the energy will come in front of me. And this is the best option. Okay. Neelanjana Samabhasham, Raviputram Imagrajam, Chayamartanda Sambhavam, Tamnamami Sanaicharam. If you say this Sostram to invoke the Sani, if your intention was very much clear, okay, then one more thing. There is also one interesting thing. Whenever you do the Shostram, a number of the times you have to chant. When you are doing the chanting, if the breath was going through your both the nostrils, then the prayer will reach the divine very much easily. Instead of one nostril, if both the nostrils, the airflow will be stable and steady. That is the moment, that is the period, the any kind of the chanting will reach the highest peak. Then you may ask the question. Okay, I know my breath was going on both the nostrils, but if you notice, it won't be if you keenly watch your nostrils, it won't occur 24/7. That if you are in a very good health, and very good health means you don't have any kind of disturbance in your body. That means consider you are an average health person. 1.5 hours only your body, your nostrils will both on both the nostrils. You can feel that sometimes the density of this one nostril will increase, the other side will be less comparatively with this. But approximately 1.5 hours only, both the nostrils can breathe. Okay, why that one? If your body health was not that much good, then this 1.5 hours will be reduced slowly, slowly, slowly. And there was one point will come, not even a 15 minutes you can able take the both the nostrils cannot be that much steady. So when it was goes into the zero, the soul will be escaped from this body. That is the point. Okay. But now come back to that. I want to get into that story. Come back here. So the Navagarbha Sutra, what I'm trying to say here is when you find out at that particular point, when your both nostrils are working with the same speed. And one interesting thing also here, okay, it will lead you to somewhere. Okay, when that point was there, then your concentration level will be highly increased, and you are exactly in the center point. People will say, center yourself, center yourself. Whenever very first time I joined the yoga club, my teacher was telling me, center yourself. Center yourself means what I did, I centered myself in the mat. But later point in time, I understand what is the center yourself. But that was a total different story. But when the nostrils having both the nostrils having the breath, centering yourself is a much easier task than anything. Okay. When that moment you find out, then chanting is the best option. Okay, then we'll quickly go through about the last week. Saturn in first house, even it was the Marana Karaka, it's really good. The people are very much interested in their work, and they really find hard in the work-life balance. Okay, Saturn in the second house, very much organized, and it is also good for in the family life. Okay. Saturn in the third house, again it's a favorable house for the Saturn, and these people again organize discipline in the communicative and the creative house. Okay. Now let's go into the fourth house. Fourth house, maybe they have the tough childhood, but they definitely keep the distance from their mother. And if they live away from the motherland, then the Saturn in the fourth house may won't give any kind of the effect in that. Okay, but whenever you see the Saturn, make sure you see the aspect of the Saturn also. You may ask a question, why in every other grahas you don't give importance, but why we are giving importance to Saturn as well? The Saturn sitting at one place, Saturn aspecting the other place gives a different effects. Okay. Every graha you have to see the aspect as well, but give much more importance to the Saturn. Okay. Saturn in the fifth house. Fifth house means your children, creativity, intellect, or dream, whatever your vision, everything will get delayed. You will see the delays in every aspects. Okay, then remember whenever the Saturn in the fifth house, see your seventh house, second house, and 11th house, because these three will get affected when the Saturn in the fifth house. The Saturn in the sixth house, most favorable. Okay, these people are highly organized with the health tips and the competition. They're definitely having the very successful in the health oriented profession. Okay, Saturn in the seventh house. This is the most favorable because seventh house Saturn is the Digbala. They have have very lucky in all aspects of the life, and it makes them very hardworking person also. Okay, this is the very good one. Saturn in the seventh house. Saturn in the 8th house. Okay, one more thing. You may ask this question. Okay, I have the Saturn in the 7th house, and I didn't see any luck in every aspects of my life. In that case, we have to see what are the grahas associated with it. Is there any graha present in the same along with the Saturn, or any aspect of the inauspicious graha aspect in the Saturn or no, or which uh, any number of grahas may aspect a Saturn as well, right? We have to see that one also. And okay, one important thing. Whatever we are seeing now, we are seeing only based on the grahas and the bhavas. Okay, we are not including one important part, that is the nakshatra. Okay, whatever we are seeing now, it is only based on the two layers. Then you might ask the question. Then whatever we analyze is gives the correct result or not. Approximately may give you the 60 to 70% role. The nakshatra plays the biggest role. It will change everything, whatever you previously analyzes, and you can come into one kind of a conclusion. But the nakshatra plays the biggest role that will change everything. Okay. So at this point, give much more importance to learn about the grahas, to learn about the bhavas. If you strong in this two points, don't worry about the nakshatra. We will see that in the next year itself. Okay. But give much more importance to the 12 bhavas grahas. This is much, much more important. If you didn't understand 1 to 12 houses, 9 navagrahas, then there is no point to study about the nakshatra. Okay. Saturn in the 8th house. It gives a very long life and transformation in the divine way. Okay. Is very there again. Whenever you see the Saturn is organized, discipline, structured with relevant bhavas. So now we are in the 8th house. So the structure with the life of the kids through the great transformation. Okay. Now Saturn in the 9th house, not that much comfortable. In 9th house represents your father, 9th house represents your guru, your discipline, dream, vision, whatever it is. But that is not a comfortable position for the Saturn. They may have delay in their education. They may have delay in success also. They may get the success at a very later age. And if they expected the gains, it won't come immediately. It will take number of years to reach it. Okay. Saturn in the 10th house, Upachayasthana. And this takes a person to execute. This is this is wonderful for the Saturn. Again, now getting into our real class. Saturn in the 11th house. Okay, 11th house again Upachayasthana, and it's the Labhasthana for the Jataka itself. For the birth chart, 11th house becomes the Labhasthana, and again it's Upachayasthana. Anybody remember what is 11th house represents?
Fulfillment of desires.
Fulfillment of desires. So profits
Fortune.
welcome.
Fortune.
Fortune welcome. Yeah.
Elder brothers.
Elder brothers. Yes. Elder siblings. You can consider elder siblings.
Elder
For
siblings.
elder sister, brother, both of them. And whatever you catch in your hand, and the profits in the case you are provided. Okay, let's see about when the Saturn was placed in this, the Lavasthana, what it will perform. They definitely achieve the good status in life. There is no doubt about it. And they achieve that status in a very steady fashion. They won't consider they attain a status in their life, not in 1 or 2 years. They attain a status in their life, a slow and steady pace. They definitely reach. But the attaining the status in their life is the written in their birth chart. They definitely will reach no matter what. But when the Saturn was involved here you see the word delay, but not delay. Means the delay is the kind of the thing. The process will be very slow. We call it as a delay, but it may not be that kind of the thing. The process is the damn slow. You have to name it as in different fashion. Not even a delay. It's more than a delay. Okay, but definitely you will achieve. they have an ability to blessed with the huge assets and the properties. The peoples will say in our side, Saturn will give, if the Saturn was in a good position, it will give you everything in your life. So that was like Saturn in the 11th house. When the Saturn in the 11th house, it will bless with assets, properties, whatever it is, but not in a small amount. It blessed with you in a very huge amount. Okay? Imagine a person that didn't have an own asset for him or for himself or herself for very long years, but they ended up in the property with a pros kind of the property. When that point was reached, when if you have Saturn in the 11th house and the dasha period was happening, and the Kocharam is also helping, no one is stopping you. No one is stopping the Saturn. Saturn will give that much of blessing in your life. Okay. There is also a possibility you will get a profits from the large organization, institutions, or organization. The possibility is really high. Okay. These people are really visionary. If they set one thing, okay, this is the point which I'm going to reach. Now, other people may think you can't able to achieve it. This is not practical. No one has achieved the thing like that, and they may give n number of the reasons. You don't have money. You don't have the age to achieve. You don't have anybody to support. This is not going to give you money. Whatever the thing the people will say. But if the people set the vision, okay, this is the thing I want to reach, and they sat in the 11th house, people will do that. No one can change their goal. They definitely set. Because of that visionary, the things that are surrounding them is also will change. Okay? Now, that's about the aspects of the Saturn in the 11th house. Saturn in the 11th house aspects the Lagna itself as the third aspect. Fifth house, seventh aspect as the fifth house. 10th aspect as the eighth house. Let's see the first one. When the Saturn was aspecting the Lagna, it gives makes the personality strong. If you see the Saturn, if you remember the Saturn story, Saturn is a strong-willed person. Even though his majestic father was neglecting him, majestic father was throwing him away, and he had that kind of the strong will. Okay, you rejected me, I'm okay with that, and I know how to live my life. He find a way. He find his own way to live in a no, everybody was want to live like a Saturn. That kind of the status he achieved. Okay. The first house, when the third aspect Saturn was aspecting first house means Lagna, these people are strong in personality. But you may see that okay, this person is strong personality means you feel like I see this person is not strong, but his when you watch them very much closer, you understand their personality was a strong personality. Don't see in their body as well, see their mind level of thinking, how their thought process was being. That kind, their personality is very much strong. Okay, let's see about the fifth house. Is a seventh aspect, fifth house. Obviously, the fifth, when the Saturn was seeing the fifth house means the creativity skill was increased, the speculation and the understanding and that kind of the interest is also increased. And yeah, then you may have the question, they will success in that or not? Obviously, they will get success. Eighth house, 10th aspect. The philanthropic nature will come. They want to donate everything in their hands. They don't because the Saturn in the 11th house blessed with so many things, and so many things means it is in a very huge level. And this kind of the people they don't want to put everything back. They don't want to put okay. I'm holding this, I'm holding this. They won't take the ownership of everything. They want to donate most of them. That kind of the people's the Saturn in the 11th house. Okay, again, this is the happiest scenario. That means you have only the Saturn in the 11th house, no other planets was present along with it, and there was no inauspicious graha aspecting. So that is the scenario we are seeing Saturn in the 11th. So then you may ask, Why we need to understand this? You definitely have to understand this. When you understand this space, this is the base. Okay, these few points are the basic. So once you understand this, then when the Saturn was present along with the one graha, you can able to understand. You can eliminate few points. You can add a few points into it. Okay. Okay. Then Saturn in the 11th house means they are organized, discipline, structure. These three things will come when the Saturn was there. But in which aspect in your life? With all your business ventures. Okay. Every bhava have the different aspects of your life. The 12 bhavas representing your different aspects in your life, different organs in your body. Okay. So mainly you have to see Saturn was present in which house. So we have to be think in that way. So in that bhava significance, the Saturn gives the organized discipline structure. In the 1 to 12 hours, Saturn was placed in at least any one of the hours, right? Go and see that in your birth chart itself. You definitely will be very much organized. You definitely will be very much busy. Okay? Let's see about the 12th house.
What will be the effect if it is sitting along with Rahu, Vanita?
In here,
11th house, yeah,
11th
11th
house.
house, Saturn and Rahu, no other aspect.
I am writing in Tamil. Give me a second. So before one thing you have to understand about the Rahu. Okay. Anyway, we are going to see the Rahu in very great detail. But before that, as you asked the question, we'll see that. The Rahu will destroy. Rahu is the kind of energy, it will destroy everything from you, except the material aspects. Okay. If you need the property, if you need the business ventures to be succeed and this, that, Rahu will definitely give you all kind of the material aspects. It won't be partial in that. But if you need a good health, no. If you need a good relationship, no. Definitely these things mainly for anyone persons who living in this life, right? The Ragu will do that job. It won't give you good relationship, it won't give you the good health. But it will give you the material aspects of course, yes. Okay. Now let's come back here. When the Ragu was present in the present along with the Saturn means, both the things are inauspicious graha. So when the Saturn was going to give this good status in the life, definitely the Rahu will also will help you because the material aspect will be there. So the Rahu is also helping you to achieve that. But if you try to achieve a good relationship in any of your elder brothers or elder siblings, Rahu will destroy that, or they will come they will come back to in a kind of a bitter relationship too. Okay, so that may be the possibility. And when it comes into your health, Rahu will give you the kind of okay. Don't get scared whenever I see this. And this kind of the things will only happen when the Dasha Buddhi was matched, when the Gochara was matched, when your Graha was there. And that is the point. This all the things going to happen. Until unless you don't need to worry about this. Okay? But when the Rahu was present along with the Saturn means there kind of is some kind of the complicated thing, complicated disease may comes into your body, especially in the legs. Why I'm saying legs? Anybody can remember that? Why I'm saying it is a leg?
Rahu represents leg in the calculation.
No, no, no. Now we are seeing the Rahu and the Saturn in the 11th house. What is a Lagna? Lagna is your head. 12th house is your feet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
11th house is legs.
Correct? Everybody can remember that body parts, right?
Ankles, right? 11th
Ankles.
house is ankles.
Ankles means it won't be possibly the people will have the fracture in the ankles. fracture in the ankles related issues. Okay, this is the point. This is a kind of the combination will come, but Rahu will give n number of the material aspects. The Saturn is also in the 11th house, so this point will come. But when comes into the relationship, when come into the health, it won't be in a good one. Okay, is this clear? Anyway, we are going
Yeah.
to see the Ragu in a very detailed fashion because next is Ragu only. That time we will understand even much better than that. Okay,
Thanks, Sunita.
let's see about the Saturn in the 12th house. 12th house is the moksha. 12th house is the detachment from this life and this dimension, whatever you are living. The soul is getting ready to detach from this. Okay, I'm done with this all kind of stuff, whichever I lived in this, and I'm ready to go. So that is also the moksha, but the detachment is also come. What is the detachment? You may be very much obsessed with your relationship. It will, you may get detached from that. You may be very much obsessed with your health. You may get detached from that. You may be very obsessed with all kind of the material things. I need a good car. I need the good dress, and I won't wear the dress the next day. I will always wear the new dress. Any kind of the obsessed things, you may get detached, and it also represents the expenditure, imprisonment, and also about your foreign settlement. Okay. Now this is about the 12th. Now the Saturn was here. Saturn we already know it is very disciplined in nature and organized, and every other things whatever you want to say, you say it. Okay? What is that? Organized, disciplined, and just is maintain the justice in all time. And very lazy. Another was it's a delay and very hard worker. Remember these 5 points. So this kind of the energy was sitting in the 12th house. And we already know 12th house is the hidden houses. And so Dustan. Okay. So this is the very, very much challenging for the enemy of the Jatak. Okay. Whoever it is, whichever the Rashi it was present, even it was the Kumbha Rashi, Magara Rashi, it was the own house. In Saturn, if that Rashi is also becomes a 12th house, it is a challenging house for the Jataka itself. Okay. One thing, they may have the heavy expense. Heavy expenses means uh, they spend the things more than their earning. Considered if they earning for 50,000, they try to spend for that for more 5 times, 10 times more than you are earning. So they do the heavy expense. Expenses means really it's a heavy expense. And the peoples who are in a Saturn in the 12th house, they have to be very much careful when the Saturn Dasha was happening, particularly when the Dasha, Buddhi, Saturn in the Buddhi was happening. You have to be very much careful about your expenditure. You have to think twice, thrice, 10 times to spend any single penny out of your pocket. Okay? Sleepless nights means this make the sleepless nights will come for sure. But if you spend the expenditure, the sleepless night may be reduced, or you may be you may encounter a number of the depressive episodes once in a lifetime, or it comes in a definite period like 10 years once, 12 years once, or 5 years once. It kind of the depressive episodes may come. Okay. Success in foreign land, but it may also get delayed. But definitely, this was a very much success in the foreign land. They feel the workplace will be the confinement. If you ask any of this Saturn in the 12th house people, they feel like the workplace will be the confinement for them. Okay. Now let's see the aspects. Now in this example, I take the Meena Lagna, Saturn in the 12th house. That is the Kumbha Rasi. The second house, third aspect. Sixth house, seventh aspect. And the ninth house, 10th aspect. Okay, let's see every aspect one by one. Second house, they have the heavy responsibility with their family. Even it comes by nature. They don't need to go and fetch. It comes by nature. They have the heavy responsibility with the family. And the seventh aspect, health, one or the other way, the health will upset because the Saturn was aspecting the sixth house for them. If the grahas was present in it, it makes it worse. But if there was no graha, at least the Saturn only influencing them. But the health collapses once in a while. Okay. Ninth house, 10th aspect. If they try to achieve any higher education, you will ask them how you try to do. One thing, consider a person who try to pursue the higher education. Uh, Firstly, their plan they may they put all kind of the plans uh, whatever they want to do in the higher education, they design the entire plan. Okay, firstly, what whenever you go for a higher education, what are the things you will do? You understand about the which you choose the universities or whatever it is, and you plan accordingly, and you have to make the expenditure at least bare minimum. So firstly, you have to plan right. But if the Saturn in the 12th house, it won't allow you to plan itself. Okay, then think about the higher education. It is the far away story. So it won't allow you to plan. Even if you plan, also after a very long struggle, you planned. Okay, then you don't get the money, or you lose, or you already have a habit of heavy expenses. What habit? It comes by as a responsibility. So you have the heavy expense, so you don't have the money to spend for your education. And one or the other way, the delay will be comes in different forms. So one point in time, you feel like, oh, okay, the higher education is not meant for me, leave it. So that kind of the mindset will go. You go and ask the people who are in the Saturn in the 12th house. If they pursue the higher degree, then they are really great. Okay?
Vanita, I have an example where Saturn is in the 12th house,
Okay.
but it is along with Venus and Ketu.
Okay, which
Kanya Lagna.
Lagna?
Kanya Lagna.
Kanya Lagna. And the Saturn along with the Venus and
Ketu.
you remember any degree of the Saturn Venus Ketu?
Yeah. Yeah. Saturn is 1046.
Okay.
Venus is 952.
Okay.
Ketu is 1037.
Oh. Then the Ketu 1037 only, right?
Correct. 1037.
Saturn is the 1046.
Correct.
Okay. Now it goes like this. So Venus is the
See, basically all three of them are in Maga Nakshatra.
Maga Nakshatra. Okay. We don't involve the nakshatra now, because then we have to change the entire learning mode.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
exclude the nakshatra now. We'll see the bhavas only. Okay.
And
When
Sun
you
is
see
in Lagna.
okay, where is the Mercury?
Mercury and Moon are in, Mercury is retrograde along with Moon in Tula.
Okay. So it was 9:52 and this is 10 something, 56 and this is 10:40. So the Ketu goes towards the Saturn. So you have to consider the combination as the Saturn and the Ketu.
Saturn Ketu.
When the Saturn and the Ketu was there, and how is he or she is doing higher education?
Yeah, that's the dream, right? So kid from 12th standard, he just completed 12th. So his dream is to study, do research and all that.
Hmm.
And so when I saw this, then it's okay. It rang a bell in my mind. So maybe this is the candidate.
When the Ketu was in the 12th house, but the Rahu is also respecting the 12th house, right? Then the
Correct.
abroad possibility is there. But the
Hmm.
Saturn is also in the 12th house. Then
Hmm.
the going to abroad is not a question here.
Hmm.
But pursuing the higher studies will definitely give delay in one or the other way.
Hmm.
And okay, how you can change this? See, we already know the 12th house is Saturn going to give you the delay in the higher pursuits, right?
Hmm.
If that person was very much organized, see, if that 12th standard kid was able to organize himself or herself and very disciplined whichever he want to achieve, then the energy of the Saturn will be nullified.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this: making yourself disciplined, making yourself organized, the 12th house Saturn is really a questionable mark. You can do for 2 days, you can do for 2 weeks, but you can't do for 2 months. But if you have that kind of the strong will, if you have that kind of the strong determined this nature, then whatever the malefic effect of the Saturn will be nullified.
Okay.
If that was possible, then higher education won't get it. But if that person, you may able to understand if he was organized, he know how to plan the expenditure. Because whenever the 12th standard people is going for a higher education or graduation, or if the graduated people is going for a post graduation, they mistake in one point in their expenditure only. So if the student was can able to plan accordingly, okay, this is my first year going to be, my expenditure is this much, and how much my cash flow will be. If we had a strong plan and we have the determined will to be live within that limit, then it won't be the problem. Okay,
Probably,
so
ma'am, Saturn is sitting in Sun's house, and Sun is in the Lagna, is ruling the Lagna along with Mercury. So, what that will
this
be helping them out, right? For
so
education.
the
And
education
Saturn is
will help.
looking his own house, seventh house, Kumbha. So, that could be something more helpful for education.
They're helpful for education. Okay, this is what I'm telling. The kid was not able to going into the higher education. It's not a story. Okay, if you put an effort in your higher education, you may get delayed one way or the another. See, you may get delayed in your visa process. You may get delayed in your arranging the loans or any kind of expenditure.
But won't Sun help him, ma'am? Because Sun is will not let Saturn be coming up at all. He'll be sitting in a corner without his powers, right?
Let's see one by one. Okay. Now let's see the Lagna in that sun. When the Lagna sun was there, these people were really bright, very administrative quality will come into that person. And that too in the Buddha. Buddha was in the second house. There was the connection between the first house and the second house. Here the Mercury was retrograde. Definitely this person was intelligent. His knowledge will be incredible. No one can match with him. That is true.
That's true.
And the first house and the second house relation was there, the money flow will be with them. Okay. But here is an interesting point. The Virayadipati was sitting in the Lagna. Okay. So he have a tendency to spend the money in a greater way. His vision was greater, and he want to spend that money accordingly. He won't spend the money just like that. He have the dream, he have the vision. Okay, I want to achieve this, and I want to achieve that. Because the sun is the dreamer, sun is the visionary, and even it was looking into the seventh house. Seventh house, it is from the 12th house, aspecting the seventh aspect. how to say it was the seventh? Oh, Lagna was Sun was aspecting the seventh house. Again, the Vrayadipati was aspecting the seventh house. It won't give you that kind of the greater effect. But Sun aspecting the seventh house is good. But you have to understand the Sun, who's the owner, which house the Sun was owned. Sun owned the 12th house. That means the Prayadipati was aspecting the 7th house. Again, it won't give you the greater effect. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay,
Saturn
okay.
is aspecting Kumbha, right? And seventh, so in that case, Kumbha, Rahu will be in Kumbha.
Saturn was aspecting the 6th house, that is the
Correct.
7th aspect.
Yeah, seventh aspect. So
Sun was aspecting the 7th house. Okay, here there are two stories. One is Saturn. Saturn aspecting the 6th house means health upsets will come. One or the other way. His health will get affected in one day or another. Maybe he will be good for the 3 months, 6 months, then health will upset. Then again he go for a treatment and come back to his own phase, and again 6 or 12 months it will be good. Like that, because Saturn was aspecting the 6th house, the health upset will come for sure. Now we'll see the Sun aspecting second part we are saying. Sun aspecting the 7th house. Varayadipati was aspecting not the Lagnadipati was aspecting the 7th house. Varayadipati was aspecting the 7th house. So what he will do? He want to spend the money for his vision. He want to spend the money for his greater achievement. But he will achieve or not, he will get the benefit out of it or not, it's up to him. It's totally different story, right?
yeah.
Is that
Yes.
clear or any doubts here?
Right.
Yeah. Got it.
Vanita ji, I have another example. It's my own.
Mm.
The same scenario that you showed in the previous slide. Meena Lagna and Kumbha, Shani in Kumbha. But that's retro. And, I have certain things, feedback for you.
Give me a second. See. Meena Lagna, Saturn in the 12th house.
Yeah, Kumbha.
Okay.
Kumbha, 10 degrees. It's Mula Trikona.
10 degrees. Awesome. Wow. Okay.
So, heavy, I think heavy expenses, I don't think so. And sleepless nights, and I didn't think that I had anything like that. I know that first condition is not.
Okay. Awesome.
The second one is true.
Wait a second. Let me see.
Success in foreign land.
Okay.
And workplace will be like confinement. That is not true. Workplace was my place of worship or place of learning, whatever. It was very nice for me. So the second aspect in here is like heavy responsibility with family. That is okay. Yes, that's true. The health upsets, I don't agree with that. It's not really, maybe there is, but it's not so often. And the last one, well, I delay in pursuing the degree was delayed, but I started off. It took what normally takes 2 years, took 4 years because of the research delay or whatever. So it was delay in getting the degree, but not the actual education, whatever if you
So you may
different.
consider it's the partial only, right?
Yeah.
The true, it's not a false.
Yeah.
It's a new.
And the other things that you were talking about with the discipline in financial thing and all that, I do have that financial discipline, and whatever else that you were talking about earlier, the characteristics. The not being lazy is one of them. So although some recently, some of these days, that laziness has been affecting. Maybe it is because of Shenya in Kumbha. I don't know. Because he just moved to Meena. So hopefully now I may be, because it passed the natal Rashi. So I may be better off now. So I don't know.
Where is your Venus?
My Venus
Ah.
is in Vrishabha.
Rishabha Rashi. But that's why you have the very good sleep. Because when the Venus was also not in a good location, then the sleepless nights may occur if the Saturn is also in the 12th house.
And 12th house, by the way, Saturn is retro also.
Retrograde. Okay. Retrograde means it comes with a Saturn karma. Okay, let's see about this one. When you have that sleepful night, even though the Saturn was in the 12th house means, okay, in your entire life, you don't have a sleepless nights or all the time you will good sleep.
I do get good sleep all the time.
All the time. Then definitely the penis will place the biggest role. There are the few things you have to remember here. When the Saturn was in the 12th house means there is a possibility when the Dasha Buddhi was happening, that is the point the people will get sleepless nights. Or if the Gocharan, the Saturn.
Dasha Bhukti happened when I was 12, 10 years, 10 of age, but I'm 60 now, so I don't recall. I don't think I had any sleepless nights even then because I used to sleep well.
Okay, so that means you have the very good the other planetary position or in the good stage. Okay, now let's see. Okay, the sleepless nights comes in a different fashion. If you are living in a foreign land, whatever the malefic effect of the Saturn will be completely nullified. That's why the sleepless nights, heavy expense, because you already have the discipline in the expenditure. Where is your guru?
Second house, that is Mesha.
Oh, then that's why you have the really good sleep and this responsibility is there. Here the heavy responsibility with the family, they're telling in a little 50% of the negative aspect, 50% of the positive aspect. What is the meaning? Holding the responsibility of the family is good, but if it becomes the heavy, it's not. It's inclined towards the negative aspect. But when the guru was in the second, it means you definitely will enjoy your responsibility. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Then this is not becomes your heavy. This becomes your
No, it is not
yeah.
in a negative sense. No.
It becomes the enjoyable nature for you. So that's the graha which is present here. That will change the malefic effect of the inauspicious graha. Now the even Saturn retrograde was in the 12th house. You have the very good sleep means you have the good graha was present in your Venus was present in the 3rd house and it's in the moon house and the guru was in the 2nd house. Obviously, it was the greater thing. The, any grahas was present in your 6th house?
No grahas in the 6th house.
Respect to where is the sun?
Sun is in 5th house.
Sun is in 5th
Tula,
house.
yeah.
Kataka Rasi, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kataka Rashi, yeah.
Yeah. So the sun is present in the moon house only. That too also in the 5th house. So when the owner of the house was present in the good position, that is also helping you not getting upset in your health. So even though the Saturn aspect was here, but the owner was present in the good position, then it's
okay. Makes sense.
the changes and interestingly, if the people will get affected when imagine a situation if your son obviously now it was present in the 5th house. Imagine the sun was present in here. Imagine my son was present in 6th house only. Saturn was aspecting. Why I'm getting the upset health? Because the Saturn was, even though Sun was in the own house, but is in the 6th house. It gives a malefic effect. along with Saturn is also aspecting, that will add on to it, then that upset your health. But now here your story was different. Your owner was present in the 5th house. That's good house also. Moon and the sun, it's a good pair. And now the Saturn was aspecting, definitely the health upset is not happening in your life. Sounds good, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now let's see about
Vanita, Vanita, there is a saying is that I heard it. When the Saturn in 12th house, the native will lose heavily at the end of the life. Is it true? Because of the over expenditure. If
what
the
is it?
If the Saturn in 12th house, the native will lose heavily at the end of his life. He will become penniless. Is it true?
No, okay. It's a
Bankrupt.
partial. We don't believe that all the words exactly take it to your heart, but the heavy expense they definitely will do. You can't avoid from that. But some people will understand the heavy expense they do, but they don't realize that. But the heavy expense will come. They will lose all the penny. That is also they don't even have money at the end of their hand. That is also be there. But if you spend the money in a different choices, okay, imagine a situation. Okay, now you have the Saturn in the 12th house. You definitely know at this point that the heavy expense comes in your life, no matter what, whatever the ages you will be in, heavy expenses will come into you. But if you did the good karma in your entire life, for example, if you do the donation every month, if you do the 1% of your salary or 1% of your income
Charity.
to the good karma, to the charity or donation, then this, you said this heavy expenses, right? It will be balanced.
Okay.
Whatever whatever the saying they said is it correct.
Okay. Then what is meaning by challenging house means what?
What is it?
What challenging house they said 12th house is challenging house. What is challenging? That nothing come easy for them?
Nothing will come easy. See, if they're going into the work, it won't be easy for them. If they study, it won't be easy for them. Why? If they enter into the married life, it won't be easy for them. If the friendship, it won't be easy for them. Nothing will come easy for them. And the thing is, if you don't eat and your health is upsetting and you don't have a good sleep, then what is the point?
Yeah.
Right? That's
Okay,
why it was become a challenging house. But if your karma was like this, if you already understand, so why we need to study astrology? What kind of the things which is affecting in my life? So if you understand, okay, my Saturn was in the 12th house. If I do the charity, if I do the services to in return my services to the society in whichever way I can capable for, so that way you increase your karma. It's a maybe not some people may believe the karma theory, but I believe totally if whatever you did, it will be come in front of you one way or the other. Okay?
So I have Vanitaji, I have one more question, a quick question. So the 12th house, will it actually make you spend more on the kind of like a spiritual like temples, visits, or donations, and like or liberations, moksha, that kind of thing.
Yes. And the expenses can be anything. They do it for their family or they do it for the pilgrimage or whatever it is. But the heavy expense will come. But somebody realized, okay, this is the heavy expense in my life. But somebody they believe that no, it's my habit, it's my nature, and I do it. It's not a heavy expense for me. But the heavy expense will come no matter what. Because when the Saturn in the 12th house, make sure you will do it. But that's why when you realized this is my horoscope and I'm having the 12th house, anyway I'm going to do the expenditure. That is the point you have to be organized yourself. That is the point you have to make yourself financially disciplined. You should not spend the money just like that, and you have to your own savings. This is the point you have to make the wise decision on your finance.
Correct.
And make donation, and at least 1% of your income goes for a donation, and this expenses will be reduced. And you may see like how this kind of a thing will be accounting this and that. Don't worry about it. It is totally a different story and theory altogether to discuss. But when you do the charity, it have its own karma, it have its own energy that will reflect in you. Even if you spend one notebook for a kid, one time food for another, the person who didn't have food for a time. So if you do that, it will come back to you in a multiple times. So particularly the people who have Saturn in the 12th house, if they do this kind of a thing, this heavy expenses will be reduced, and you may be the people who are having the sleepless nights. If they do the charity, if they do the it's not like whenever you do the charity, I want to do it, it's in a crores and lakhs. If you do the 10 rupees, whatever the things you can, if you do the 100 rupees, then that will match, it will change your habit, it will change your whatever the things in you, and the energy is also modified. Then you have a sleepful night. Okay. Any questions on the Saturn in the 12th house?
Thank you, Vanita.
Thank you. Nothing. Thank you. Nothing.
Yeah, that's all about the Saturn. Saturn is the greatest story we have to discuss. And if you ask me to discuss, I will discuss the entire day. We'll stop with here and quickly analyze the Satish horoscope. Then we'll end the session. Okay. We know about. We are discussing about the Satish horoscope. Okay. Lagnam is the Mithuna. Rashi also Mithuna. Dasha Buddhi was Venus. All the things we have ready. Okay. There was no Yoga Karaka. There is Bhatagastana is the 7th house because the Mithuna Rasi, Upaya Rasi, that's why 7th house becomes the Bhatagastana. Okay, there was no Grahas exalted, decorated, I guess. Now let's see into the chart. Okay. Now we are going to see the 9th house. Here today we are going to see the 9th house, and the Gocharam is also wrong. So, okay, leave it. We are not even going to discuss about the Gocharam today. I'll quickly finish this. Now the Mithuna Lagna, 9th house is the Kumbha Rasi. This is the 9th house. It's the Kumbha Rasi where the Saturn was placed. Saturn is sitting in his own house. And the 9th house is not comfortable for the Saturn. Saturn will going to give you the n number of the bad effects to you in when it was in the 9th house. Now, before that, let's see about what is the 9th house. 9th house represents your long journey. 9th house represents your all religious practice, devotional practice, whichever the religions you belongs to, all kind of the religious beliefs, practice, everything belongs to the 9th house. Your guru's grandkids belongs to the 9th house. Your discipline and the dream visions you have comes to the 9th house. Comes to the education, philanthropic or father's wealth, and when it comes into the body parts, it's the hips and the thighs. Okay. Now, it's all the 9th house. This is the only the 9th house. No, there are so many significance for the 9th house. But importantly, we have to understand about the father. Okay. Here, the guru along with the father also, and I forgot to mention, it can tell you about your guru. It can tell you about your father's wealth, and the educations you are trying to pursue, what kind of the vision you have. Are you blessed with the long journey or not? And how is your religious the devotional practice? Uh, this is the religious and the devotion practice you can able to pursue or not. These all the things can be understand from here. Particularly, you have to much more give importance to the physical parts, hips and the thighs. Now let's come back and see about So I used the previous name, but I forgot to tell it. Okay, now we'll see about the Sun. Now we already know about the Saturn, so let's see about the Saturn in the ninth. When the Saturn in the ninth house, that time also we saw about the Satish horoscope only. Saturn was third. Saturn aspects is third house versus seventh house. Okay. Third aspect was the third house was the seventh aspect. Sixth house was the 10th aspect, and the 11th house was the third aspect. If they try to pursue the law, and definitely they will win in the profession. They are very much successful in the profession. At some point, they are delaying the higher education, but Satish, I believe he said there was no delay. And the religious writing, they have the ability to write the religious, or if they have the ability to release like white paper kind of stuff. They definitely achieve the success, but it comes with a greater difficulty. The gains also delay. So these are the things we have to understand. So the ninth aspect will try to tell you about the third house, sixth house, and the 11th house. When the Saturn was sitting, and it is aspecting the third house. So if we are going to see about the courage and the writing, sixth house, it tells about your job, it tells about your success in your profession, and 11th house is the profits and the gains. So when the ninth house Saturn will give you this kind of the additional 3 aspects also. Okay. Now come back to the Satish horoscope. Now here, the ninth house aspect of the 11th house. Wait, here. So the Saturn was 11th house, and the third house, and the sixth house. So the Saturn was aspecting 11, 3, and the 6. In additionally, now let's see what are the other grahas aspecting the ninth house. Okay, let's see about the Jupiter. Jupiter having a ninth aspect to the Jupiter's ninth aspect to the ninth house, and the Mars third aspect to the ninth house. So there was the 2 more grahas, which is adding the aspect to the ninth house. One is the Guru, one is the Mars. Okay, now the combination was like this: Saturn plus Mars, Saturn plus Guru. Okay.
Sorry,
The
ma'am.
reference-
How come the Mars aspect Saturn here? Because it has fourth aspect, right? Not third.
You're correct. I'm wrong. Correct. 478. I forgot. You're right. That's why I'm also confused. Why the Mars Saturn was thing? Mars Saturn was there, and Satish, whatever he said, it was not matching. I thought about it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's my mistake. Oh, then there is no Saturn Mars. I also thought whenever I how come the Saturn Mars combination was coming to Satish? It's not matching. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's see about the Saturn and the Jupiter. If you remember this one, Satish was in the line, I guess.
Yeah, I'm there.
Satish, you have the delay in higher education?
No, I did it in one go only. After
Yeah.
finishing my UG, I did my PG.
And you have any interest in the creativity, or how is your courage? Let's see about the creativity. How is your you have any interest in your writings or the creativity?
Writing's not this thing, but mechanical gadgetry and all, I do a lot of. I have my creativity in that.
About this work, how you reach the success? Where it's a cakewalk for you, or you feel
No,
the end number?
tell me, ma'am. N number of?
You feel the end number of difficulty to achieve your profession in success in the job, or you will achieve it very easily?
No, I do it. It comes in smoothly. doesn't come fast, but smoothly it happens and never delayed.
Okay. And about the achieving the gains, it comes in a delayed fashion, or it comes, okay, whatever the gain which you receive in your life, it comes automatically.
Yes, it comes automatically. Yeah.
Okay. So whatever the malefic effects of the Saturn was nullified, and then we may have the question, how is that possible? Yeah. So, okay. How is that possible? So then we come back to this Graha combination one more time. We'll see this first. Because the Jupiter was respecting the Saturn, that gave you an added advantage because that was sitting in the Lagna itself. So whichever the grahas which is sitting in the Lagna at the Lagna Pili, then that will give you the tremendous effect to the entire bhavas, all the bhavas to the Jataka. Okay. When the Graha was sitting in the Lagna that was respecting the Saturn, it mostly nullified the malefic effects of the Saturn. His education was not delayed and his success was smooth, and the other aspect he said is also good. So that means then Jupiter was respecting the Saturn was it was in a full-fledged manner. Okay. Now let's see about the other grahas aspecting. Saturn is aspecting the retrograde Mercury as well. Saturn is, this is the, I remember this is 10th aspect, right? Yes, Sunu?
Yes.
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 So the Saturn retrograde Mercury, Saturn retrograde Ketu, Ketu and the Saturn, Sun and the Saturn. So whichever the Graha present in it, the Graha combination will happen. Okay, when you do the Graha combination, you have to list the when you see the Graha combination here, you have to see that in a different way. You have to arrange the Grahas in the degree wise, then you have to understand which Graha combination was present. But when the aspect was happening, take it as like the combination of that two Grahas. Now the retrograde Mercury and the Saturn. Okay. Now, whatever the things which we understand till now, anybody can say about when you see the retrograde Mercury and the Saturn, what kind of the significance it comes in your mind, whichever it is. Don't worry about it is right or wrong, because I do a number of the mistakes. So don't worry about it. Whenever you see the retrograde Mercury and the Saturn, what else comes in your mind? Anybody?
Delay in documentation related stuff.
Is it delay?
In documentation related stuff.
Document related stuff. Let's check with Satish itself. You have any delay in the documentation? Document related stuff. Documents means
Very much.
any.
Very much.
Very much. Okay, this is correct. Awesome. Another thing? Right. He was delayed in the document related stuff. Okay. How the delays will be? It's the document sanction was not, or you're not able to get the documents, or the sanction was not approved. In which
Some aspect in the document is not correct or something like that.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. The correction of the documents is needed, right?
Yeah. And that too, it's related to my father's property. And my ninth lord is looking at the son, who's my father. And whatever he's given to me, some aspect of in the document, there's an error, it's something in that. My father is supposed to be very strict in details, but I don't know how he did this to me. I don't know.
Okay. How about the relationship between you and your father?
It was very good till 35 years, ma'am. And after that, they went down. I told you, my mother passed away around that time. And from that time, it was just a downward spiral.
When the Saturn was sitting in the ninth house, the relationship between the father and the son may not be good. If it was good, it will give you some problem in different fashion. I feel it was like now in your thing, it comes in a document wise. But mostly when the Saturn was sitting in the 9th house, the father and the son relationship may not be good.
Mhm.
And then
But it was excellent, ma'am. Till 35 years, it was very good.
it was really good because the Guru is aspecting the 9th house, right?
And moon is also in ascendant, my mother.
But moon was in your lagna. Oh, moon is along with you. It's your jataka itself. And moon is directly not influenced, but indirectly it was influencing you
Influencing,
to maintain
yes,
the
ma'am.
relation. Yeah, to maintain the relationship between the father and the son. Also. Okay, now come back into. Anybody wants to say anything about the Mercury and the Saturn? We'll move into the next graha, next graha combination. Anybody remember anything? Mercury was if you remember about the retrograde Mercury, what it was.
The
Each.
Mercury represents communication. So does it mean that it would have affected or miscommunication, misunderstanding, something?
Why misunderstanding?
Mercury represents communications, right? So when the Mercury is retrograded, does it affect that it would have affected the communication, leading to misunderstanding and miscommunication?
Okay, you're saying that Mercury is the communication, so the Saturn was present with it, so it gives you the miscommunication or misunderstanding. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let's check
Or
with Satish itself. Is that the thing, Satish?
Miscommunication between me and my anybody, or you're telling with respect to which aspect you're talking about
in
miscommunication?
any relationship, in any significant relationship. Maybe
No,
the setback was because of that.
No, I have not been like that. I don't even things didn't happen like that. I used to ask on the face of anything if there's any communication issues. I used to, I mean, or rather anything relating to communication. I used to openly talk with whomever it is related to. I
Okay,
never go. I mean,
awesome. I understand here. See, the thing is, comes in a two-way. Your understanding about the communication is correct, but you forgot about the Saturn. Saturn won't give you the misunderstanding. Saturn give you the delay. Saturn give you the thing which see like that. Like if you want to communicate, feel that okay, I will communicate tomorrow. Then you feel the next day also okay, I will communicate tomorrow. Okay, it won't be 2 days only delay, right? What is the big deal about it? Okay, I will go for next 2 days. Even if it was 10 days passed, also you feel like, what is the big delay? So that kind of thing, this kind of a situation may happen in your life, Satish.
that delaying has happened. Yes.
That is the thing. See, when the communication is correct, when you see about retrograde Mercury, communication is correct, but you forgot the Saturn. Saturn will tell you that when he have the exact list about what the things have to say because retrograde Mercury, it have the n number of the list. What are the things I have to communicate and which passion I have to communicate, I have the organized list. The Saturn was present along with it. What it will say? Okay, I will communicate tomorrow. No, I still have time. And 1 day,
Yeah.
2 days, even 1 month also, the Jataka won't feel it was a delay. But whoever he want to communicate the other person, the other end person feels that why this person will get delayed for a month. It not even taken a 1, 2 or 2 minutes to communicate with. Okay? So that is a situation may face. Okay, now coming into the Ketu. Okay, now
Vanita, please. It's 4 p.m.
yeah, I finished
And
it.
it's more than 1.5 hours of recording. So
Yeah, we'll finish this now. Yeah.
okay, thank
The
you.
Mercury is also comes with one more relationship. That you have to think about the relationship is also delayed or some other thing. The communication will get delayed to that relationship as well. Okay, now let's coming into the Ketu and the Saturn. And then the Saturn we'll see in the next week. Okay, we'll follow to this then a 9th house again to the next week. We'll see you all next week then.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Ma'am.
much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.